Good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the 7 a.m. part of our yoga fun for today. Um, Let me see if I can let some more light in. It's looking a little gloomy outside right now, at least on my end. So hopefully that light works. Good. And speaking of the weather, by any chance, if this video cuts out, I will just go ahead and redo a new live session. This morning we were kind of getting a little like flickers, like little surges, but the power didn't completely cut out. Um, so if the video ends up stopping, just go back to our page and I will redo a live video for us. So hopefully that won't happen. Yeah. So last night or not last night, but Tuesday night, I got some inquiries about the class that we took together where I was going through some binding asanas and I got some positive feedback, but also questions on what are binds good for? Are they technically intermediate poses? And just overall the benefits and how we can progress ourselves into binds. So essentially, if we're just like, wait, what binds? What are you talking about? I'll show you an example first because I am definitely a visual learner. And so a bind is where we connect a limb to one another in a asana pose. And so I'm going to come into a side angle bind because this I feel like is the best example. So as I come here into a side angle, bringing the hand behind the back and coming underneath to clasp onto the top hand, opening up through the chest, looking up in the air. From behind, coming back into another side angle. From behind, this is what we should see. Good. And so the benefits of the bind is number one, especially if we are connecting the limbs of our arms together, it's a great chest opener. It helps us de-round through the shoulders, connecting our shoulder blades more together so that we aren't as rounded, we don't have as much of a rounded thoracic spine. It also helps us create elongation with the spine, and you will notice throughout your practices, if you want to implement the bind into it, that doing separate exercises, practicing lengthening through the spine and creating more twists into your practices will greatly benefit and improve growth in your binds, as well as it gives us a great mental stimulation as we are holding these poses. It helps us advance more into our yoga practice. If you're a beginner, it can help us move to intermediate. If you practice it a lot when you're intermediate and you want to advance to more advanced and difficult balancing poses, it's a great mental stimulation to get us prepared to move on to those steps. And so for today, since it is the morning, I will be giving 2 asana examples of binds. And so for today's class, working on hips, working on spine, shoulders, chest opening, bringing some twists into the game. So hopefully that sounds great with us on the other end. So with that being said, we go ahead and grab my tomato soup here. This coffee. Good. And let us decompress through the spine to start with our practice. So you can go ahead and we're going to ground through the standing position. This is one of my favorite ways to ground into a yoga practice of having the knees just or feet a little bit wider than hip length apart, creating a soft bend to the knees. Bring your tailbone towards the back of the room. Hands are going to go onto the shin, finding that straight spine, and that doesn't mean like overarching. You want to bring that chest in, so we find that straight spine. hip hinging, bring that tailbone up and create more of a bend into the knees. Then as we achieve this good hip hinge, you can then go ahead and clasp elbows together side to side. And you can even put your head in between the space of the arms, or maybe the forearms even behind the head. That helps us get into a little bit of a deeper hip hinge. Will probably help us stretch out more through the hamstrings behind the thighs here. And you can either find stillness, or if you wanted a pendulum swing side to side. Just allowing yourself to use that Ujjayi breath here, where we inhale through the nose and exhale through the throat. Utilizing the core to help us breathe. This allows us to create a deeper hip hinge for ourselves. Bring some, not only relaxation, but some awareness and calmness into the beginning of the practice. Take 3 more breaths. Good. And then you can go ahead and very gently start to squat, either all the way down, or if you have a block nearby, you go ahead and place a block underneath your sitting area here. Okay. And then continue to have the squat, whether hovered or seated, palms onto the mat and chin to chest here. And take about 5 breaths. Just letting any expectations or tension release from your spine, from your neck. From your shoulders, away from the ears. Wonderful. You can very slowly come back up. And then just remove the block. And come into a seated position here. I believe I forgot to mention the props that we will need for this morning's class. And 2 blocks, 1 block is fine. I personally always prefer 2 on hand, symmetry. Definitely will need a strap and a blanket possibly for some comfort. So as we are here onto our seat, reminding that it is Thursday, so we do take things a little slower on this day. We're going to do some shoulder rolls, so hands onto the thighs or knees. Inhale, bring the shoulder all the way up towards the ears. Rotate them back. Inhale up. Exhale, release. So yeah, itch. Get that scratch. Inhale up. Exhale, release, and go ahead and do this about 3 more times. Keeping your chest nice and proud as you are rotating your shoulders. Good. And then on the next breath, let's go ahead and focus on the neck, because the neck is an extension of your spine, and it is important throughout your yoga practices to give it some tender loving, especially for y'all belayers. Let's go ahead. Inhale, rise, arms up to the T, palms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, release to the ground as you scoot back up. Inhale, rise. Exhale, release. Inhale, rise once more. And then as we rise here, we're going to bring the right ear to the right shoulder, bring the right hand to the left ear, and the left fingers rotated towards the ground. Just very gently pressing onto the mat, not forcefully, just intently. Good, keeping your spine straight. Slowly guide the right ear to the right shoulder. I'm going to take one more breath. Nice, keep your face in place, but slowly bring the right hand to right cheek. And inhale, guide it back into the center here. Wonderful. Bringing the arms back out to the T. Take 3 sun breaths. Inhale, rise. Exhale, release. Hands back to the mat. 2 more times. And really allow yourself to move within the pec towards your arm. Let's go ahead for 1 final sun breath. So technically 4. And let's keep the left hand up. And slowly bring the left hand to the right ear, right fingers pressing onto the mat, and then inhale, stretch through the neck towards the left ear, or left shoulder again. Again, we're just intently pressing onto the mat, nothing forceful. About 5 breaths. After the 5 breaths, keep your face into place, but gently guide the left hand to the left cheek, and inhale, guide the face back to the center here. Nice, palms up, inhale, rise, sun breath. And as we lift our navel up 2 inches, nice and tall into the spine, we're gonna go ahead, inhale, twist over towards the right side for our first twist. Left hand to the thigh, right arm behind. Rotate that shoulder back and take your eye gaze over the right shoulder. Good. And stay here for 3 more breaths. Next eye gaze over the left shoulder here. Keeping the spine tall, so if you feel like you are rounding here, just always use a proud, confident chest to bring us up. Nice, and then very gently release to the center. Let's do 3 sitting cat-cows. So rotate the shoulders back, chest forward, inhale, eyes up, sitting cow. Exhale, round through the shoulders, chin to chest. Okay. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more round. Good. And then as we come back into the center, I'm going to flip the palms up. Inhale, rise, sun breath. Lengthen up through the spine, and inhale, twist over to the left side and bringing the right hand onto the left thigh and the eye gaze over the left shoulder here. And actively bringing that shoulder back, keeping that proud chest. And after about 3 breaths, let's go ahead and take the eye gaze over the right shoulder. And then very gently release. Wonderful. So let's go ahead. If you have your straps, it's going to be 1 more sitting pose before we start getting our legs moving here. We're going to go ahead and just do Gomukasana Arms, just to open us up here. So with your strap, let's go ahead and place the strap diagonally from your right shoulder going down towards your left. And I usually do it facing forward, so I'm going to do this example facing behind so you can get a better visual here. Good. So it's over the right shoulder, down the left. The right hand, we're going to go ahead, take a pat onto our back here to grab onto the strap. With the left arm, let's take it out to the T, palm facing towards the back of the room. Good. And then let's bring that left hand behind our spine, rotating that shoulder back, grabbing onto the strap here. So if you can interlock your fingers, that's awesome. But our focus is not so much on the interlocking, but the opening of the shoulders and de-rounding through the upper spine. So it's okay to have some rope here, just gently pulling onto the rope, lifting up through the chest. And I like to place the forearm behind the head to help keep the spine straight and to help with that shoulder rotation here. 5 breaths. And after the 5th breath, just very slowly release the arms, very gently. Allow yourself to feel that blood flow. It is the best feeling, in my opinion, when it comes to holding poses. Letting that gently release through your fingertips. And let's go ahead and go the opposite way. Let's bring the strap going down the left shoulder over towards the right. Gomukasana Arms or cow-faced arms. From here, I'm going to take my left hand towards the ceiling, pat myself onto the back here. I'm going to go ahead and grab onto the strap. My right hand behind my spine here, grabbing onto the strap as well. And you're going to notice that you may have more space on this side, or you might be closer. And that's okay. Our body isn't meant to be completely symmetrical. So just find that lift into the chest, pulling onto the strap, finding the straight spine, maybe the forearm behind the head. Rooting through the knees. 5 breaths. After the 5 breaths, very slowly release. Good. And just feeling that blood flow and just slowly rocking the shoulders out. I think I already mentioned this, but if you are able to clasp your fingers together here, it is better to have that space in between your shoulders or in between the strap than grabbing onto your hands and rounding through the spine so that you're able to get there, because then we're putting too much tension onto the upper spine. Good. So our props are our friends. They help us get to our goals here. So why don't we get our legs moving now? So let's go ahead. Come into tabletop position. Get our legs moving, our spine moving. Just do a couple cat-cows to reset through the shoulders here. Wide tabletop position. Inhale, chest up. Eye gaze forward into cow. Exhale, around through the shoulders, shin to chest into cat. Do 3 more. Good. And then with the left knee, inhale to the chest. Exhale, fire hydrant style. Go ahead and hold it here. Engage the core. Lift up nice and high with the knee. One more breath. Keeping the left foot flexed. And then go ahead and create some rotation within the hip socket. Keeping that left foot nice and flexed, getting nice and high with the rotation. And you can reverse the rotation as well. Okay. Then we're going to go ahead, inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, straight through the leg in the back. And then bringing your right arm forward into balanced tabletop. Good. And then lift up with the stomach in through the spine, so keep our spine nice and straight here. Engage that core, keep that balance. And then we're going to go ahead and inhale, bring the right arm to the T, balance, taking the left leg all the way up towards the side and dropping it to the ground here. Good. So flat left foot to the ground, stretching out through the inner thigh. Inhale, right arm towards the ceiling. Exhale, thread the needle. Good. Bringing the right ear and the right shoulder, getting more of a twist into our body. Got a little extra into our legs, stretch up through the hamstring. And you can take the left arm towards the top of the mat here, or you can challenge yourself, bringing it behind your thigh to grab onto the right thigh. You can also keep your left hand to the front of the mat here, and then you can rise with the left foot. Good. Getting a little balance here, engaging the core so that we can keep ourselves onto the side. And whoo, I'm about to say if you topple over, that's fine. Just lift yourself back up. Good. Pressing the right hand into the floor to keep you stable. And if your foot is lifted, you can bring it back down here. Good. And then very gently bring the left forearm to the mat and take your eye gaze forward here. Good. Getting a deeper stretch into the right arm. Tailbone towards the ceiling. One more breath. Nice. Slowly bring the right hand and meet the left. Inhale, rise left leg towards the back of the room. You bend the knee. And then with the right hand, we're going to go ahead, bring it behind to grab onto the left foot. Press your left foot into the right hand. Good. Stretch up through the quads, stretch up through the spine. 2 more breaths. Balance tabletop. Release. Go ahead, shake up the hips side to side if you need to. Cat cow. Anything to help you reset here. I'm going to go ahead and take it to the opposite side here. So with the right knee, inhale, bring the right knee into the chest. Exhale, balance tabletop. And then, or not tabletop, sorry, fire hydrant. And once you're in fire hydrant, go ahead, keeping the right foot flexed, create some circulations into the hip socket. Good, making sure that your spine is nice and straight. So if you feel some dipping here, just bring the chest in towards the spine. Reverse the rotation. Good. And then bring the right foot towards the back of the room. And then inhale, bring the left arm forward here into your balanced tabletop. Good, engage the core, 1 more breath. Take the left arm to the T, balance, right arm to the side, or right leg I should say. Then take the foot to the ground, rise with the left arm, and thread the needle here. Good. Keep the right foot flat onto the ground. You can take the right arm towards the front of the mat here, towards the back. If you're going to lift up through the right leg into that balance, you want to keep the right arm towards the front. And if you're balancing, press the back of the left hand into the ground, engage the core, press the left foot into the ground. dog here. Nope, he's one toe away. Good. After a good few breaths, you can go ahead and replace the right foot back to the ground. And then we're just going to slowly lift up and turn our body towards the front of the mat here. Keeping the right arm extended, stretching out through the left arm. Tailbone is up. So if you need to adjust yourself, go ahead and do so. About 3 breaths here. Nice. Bring the left arm to meet the right foot. And from here, bring the right leg towards the back of the room, back through the right knee. And with the left hand, go ahead and grab onto the right foot and press the right foot into the left hand. Lift up through the chest, 3 breaths. And then slowly release. Go ahead, shake it out if you need to. Cat-cow. Take a drink of water before we go into our downward facing dog. So we just want to make sure that our blocks are near the front of the mat. Our strap can be near the front of the mat too. We're going to bend our knees to start in the downward facing dog, and we're going to bring the tailbone up towards the sky first so that we can stretch out through the spine, through the shoulders, really gluing your hands to the mat here, all the knuckles connecting. Bring your tailbone up towards the ceiling, hollowing out through the lower spine. Good. And then you can go ahead and straighten out through the legs. Pedal one leg at a time. Let's round through the spine. I'm sorry. It's all right, buddy. It's okay. Come here, buddy. It's all right. Sorry, the male person is here dropping off my mail. You know dogs, I don't like them. Anyways, round through the shoulders into plank. Chaturanga, flip the feet. Inhale into upward facing dog. Bring the shoulders towards the back of the room, chest forward. Good, and then tailbone all the way up towards the sky, downward facing dog. It's okay, buddy. Good. And then we're going to root through the left heel. Inhale, rise, right leg, 3-legged dog. We're going to bend the knee and then open up the hip crease, spreading the knees apart here. Nice. 3 breaths. Good. We're going to square the hips, inhale, knee to chest, and then send the right foot towards the left side of the room. Sideways triangle, go onto the inner arch of your left foot. Rise, left arm towards the ceiling. 3 breaths. Slowly release. Left arm down, bend the left knee, rise back up into 3-legged dog. I'm going to send the right knee forward in between our hands here. Good. We're going to rotate our shoulders back, and we're going to clamshell our hands here so that we can work with the chest opening. So coming into the high lunge, we're going to inhale, rise, chest up towards the ceiling, and bringing your core forward here so that we're not overarching into the spine. So bringing your core up and engaged, arms are towards the back of the room. You can also drop the back foot at a warrior diagonal. That's more comfortable for us here. Okay. And on the next breath, if you go ahead, inhale, hip hinge, bring in the temple towards the right knee, fist up towards the air, open up through the chest, 3 breaths. Wonderful. Engage the core, press into the right foot, and rise, chest rises back up. Release the arms and bring them up towards the ceiling here. And then we're going to open up into warrior two. Okay. And as we open up into warrior two, we're going to flip the right palm here. Take a breath here to open in between. Open up with our thighs, hamstrings. On the next breath, reverse the warrior, bringing your right arm towards the ceiling. Lower your left arm down the thigh, or you can bring the left hand behind your back to come into your warrior two. Opening up through the chest, keeping the front knee bent. Exhale, release, warrior two. And we're going to go ahead, straighten out through the leg. So we straighten out through the leg, bringing the left hip crease back, triangle pose. We're going to inhale, reach the right arm towards the front of the mat. Grabbing a block if you need to. You can place it either in front of the right foot or behind. Help open up your chest into triangle. Gut to left pec towards the ceiling, right pec towards the left side. If you even wanted to, you could take that left hand behind your spine. Help open up more through the chest. And on the next breath, with the left arm, you can pendulum swing it down and inhale, bring it towards the front of the room here to get a little more into the lower spine and hip. Good. And from here, inhale into Trikonasana pose here. Good. And we're just gonna flip the feet, so point the toes forward here. Wide angle pose. Arms are gonna go clamshell behind our spine. Rotate the shoulders back, lift up through the chest. And then bring the fist towards the back of the room. Inhale, rise. Lift up through the chest. And as we exhale, bring the tailbone back. Hip hinge. Gotta bring the fist all the way up towards the ceiling here. You're nice and strong into the chest, strong into the fists. Tailbone towards the back of the room. Gotta focus on closing the shoulders. One more breath. Engage the core. And inhale, rise all the way back up. Release the hands towards the ceiling. Point the toes, left toes, to the opposite end of the mat. Bend through the knee. Come into your warrior two pose. Good. And then from here, this warrior two pose, we're just going to turn the hips in a little more. So we may need to adjust the back leg here so that we can come into our humble warrior. So we're going to continue clamshelling the hands behind our spine here. Good. Rotate the shoulders back, straighten up through the arms, lift up through the chest, bend through the knee, and bring the core in so we're not overarching. Good. It's a nice strong core. Inhale, back bend to start. And as we exhale, hip hinge forward, straight spine. Bringing the left temple to the left ear. Fists up in the air. Engage the core. Inhale, rise. Power the chest up towards the ceiling. Release the arms all the way up. And then open up into your warrior two. Nice and strong. You may need to create more space here between your feet. So as we spend a moment or two here, aligning our front knee, it's bent, opening up through the thighs. Let's go ahead and flip the right palm, or I should say the left palm here. And inhale, reverse the warrior, bringing the right arm down or behind the spine if you wish. Keeping the front knee bent, eye gaze up towards the hand here. One more breath. Inhale, warrior two. And then as we are here, let's go ahead, straighten out the front leg. If you have your block, you can place it to the inside or outside of your right foot, your choice. Straighten up through the left leg, bring the right hip crease back. Inhale, hip hinge forward, grabbing onto the block at any appropriate height. And send that right shoulder back. And right pec towards the ceiling, left pec towards the front of the room. And if you wanted to as well, you can take that right hand and bring the back of the hand behind your spine here. Eye gaze over the shoulder. Keeping that front knee straight. Good. Then you can release the right arm and pendulum swing it towards the front of the room here, getting more to the lower side body. Keeping that chest open, so if you feel your arm going down, just guide the right pec towards the ceiling. One more breath. And then rise into your Trikonasana prep. Good. Let's point both toes towards the front. Take the hands, clamshell behind your shoulders here. Rotate the shoulders back, straighten out through the arms, lift up through the chest. Inhale. And exhale, hip hinge, forward fold. Nice, so bring the tailbone back. Crown forward, hip hinging, fist up towards the ceiling here. You want to actively close the shoulders too. Ujjayi your breath, one more breath. Inhale, rise, chest up, arms up. And let's make sure that block and that strap is set towards the right side of the mat here. So we're going to go ahead and come back into just the triangle prep. But we're going to go ahead and do so on to the right leg. So the right leg is forward, legs are straight, and we're going to make sure that the block is on the outside of the right foot. We're going to go into a revolved triangle. Okay. So from here, as we bring our arms up to the T, we're going to inhale, hip hinge, straight spine here, and we're going to guide the left hand to the block. Good. Square through the hips. And bring the right shoulder all the way up towards the ceiling. Just getting into a deeper twist. Lead that right pec towards the ceiling, left pec towards the right side. Good. You're going to take that block to the outside or the inside of your right foot arch. You're going to go ahead, straighten up through the left leg, and we're going to come into a revolved Ardha Chandrasana. Half moon revolved. Go lower the back leg. And we're going to take the right hand into the inside of the right foot. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and bend through the knee and come into a side angle pose. And from here, let's go ahead and make sure that the strap is right by our right ankle here. So let's go ahead and bend through the front knee and press our right tricep into the right knee to help us open up more through the chest. And then inhale, guide the right arm towards the ceiling. Good. And once you start to feel secure into the leg, you can pendulum swing the right arm down towards the front of the mat. Good. As we open up more with the upper body, we can take the right hand towards the ceiling, We're gonna flip the palm towards the back of the room and guide the right hand down the spine. So or the left hand, I should say. So the back of the left hand should be pressing into the right thigh. Feel secure here. And once you start to open up through the spine, you can bend through the right elbow and take the right hand behind, grabbing onto the left fist or grabbing onto the strap if you need to. Left chest up, right chest towards the left side. 3 breaths. Make sure that we're not flossing ourselves here, that the arms are more towards the knee than the pelvic. Good. Side angle. Straighten out through the leg into triangle. Good. Bring the left hand down. Coming into pyramid pose. So you may need to decrease the space. You can also, if you want to open up more through the chest, take the arms behind again. And you can hip hinge in this pyramid pose. Nice, release the arms. Go ahead, walk to the center of the mat. Bring the strap over towards behind the left ankle, off the mat. Bring a block to the left side. Just go ahead, just kind of pendulum swing if you may. Your spine here, giving it a little loving. Good. And then we can go ahead. We're going to point the left toes to the front of the mat here. Good. And then as we rise with the left toes pointed forward, right foot warrior diagonal coming into Trikonasana prep. Good. We're going to go ahead and take the block to the outside of the left foot. We're square hips, looking forward here, bringing the arms up to the T. Good, engage the core. Inhale, come forward, hip hinge. Right arm to the block. Good, and then inhale, left arm towards the ceiling. Good. One more breath. Let's take the block to the inside of the left foot and maybe just a little bit forward here, past the toes. We're going to bend through the left knee, flex through the right foot. Inhale, straighten, coming into Ardha Chandrasana, but revolved. So Padarvita, Ardha Chandrasana. It's okay if our legs aren't high. Good. Let's go ahead and drop that leg and take the left hand to the inside of the left foot. And let's keep the left knee bent. Right tricep and left tricep and the left knee are glued together here, nice and strong. Good. Readjust the back leg if you need to, and come up into your side angle pose. And once you feel secure, you can pendulum swing the arm towards the front of the room here. Open up through the chest. Inhale, arm towards the ceiling. Bring the arm behind the spine here. Rotate the shoulder back. Good. And from here, you can go ahead, bend through the left elbow, clasp onto the right shoulder. Good. Come into the revolved pose. 3 breaths here. Now I'm going to opt out on my left side because I have a pinched nerve from earlier this week. Good. And then we're going to slowly release. Right hand back to framing the left foot into pyramid pose. So go ahead, either legs close together or further apart here. Bring your hands to the shin if you want to straighten out through the spine. You can also clamshell the hands behind each other, rotate the shoulders back, straighten out through the arms here, and hip hinge. And then we're going to slowly release the arms. Bring the left foot to meet the right. Drop the knees. Well deserved child pose. Put the palms up to make this child pose more decompressing than passive, than intentional. We're nearing the end of class, and because we have been doing a bunch of binds and stuff, we're only going to do a little bit before Shavasana. But for the Shavasana, when we get there, I'm going to give us a recommendation for what we can do for some spinal therapy. Good. And so 2 blocks and a blanket will benefit that. So as we move here onto our sitting area, lifting up through the chest, finding that straight spine, you're going to go ahead, hug onto the feet, and have a balanced, happy baby here. We're doing this with a little bit more core action, lifting up through the chest, essentially forcing us to make sure that we do have this straight spine. Maybe grabbing onto the toes as well. Bring the knees in, chest forward. You got some good core engagement, good shoulders into the girdle. If you wanted to attempt to straighten out through the legs too. Bringing the feet together. Press the soles of the feet, lift them through the chest. Air butterfly pose. Good. And then we're going to go ahead and crisscross through the legs here. Bringing the right heel towards the, or actually I should say the left heel towards the right thigh. Left knee is on the bottom, right knee is on the top here. We're going to go ahead and rotate the shoulders and hug that knee in. We're not going to go into any twisting here. We're just working on straight spine to start, and then hip hinge next. So one more breath. Bring the feet together, stacked, Gomukasana legs. We're not going to do the arms, we already did that. Let's go ahead and slowly walk forward here, palms facing up. Hug the knees together here. And then we can go ahead, rise up. Release the legs, switch to white. We're going to send the right leg underneath this time, so right knee into the ground. And then left foot onto the mat, find that straight spine. We're going to go ahead and lift up through the chest and bring your knee towards the chest here. Shoulders back into the girdle. Stack the knees together. And then we're going to inhale. Come forward here, hip hinge, forward fold, palms facing up. And if you have a lot of space in between the knees, like I forgot to mention, you can go ahead and place a blanket in between. And go ahead, rise up. Release the legs, windshield wipe. And then the suggestion for our Shavasana is having a block for your head. We're going to have the block the long ways onto our shoulder, where it's going to be right at the end of our rib cage at the bottom, all the way up, supporting your shoulders at the top. And you can have a blanket and kind of having it here, fold it into the long way so that you don't have to feel the hardness of the blocks here. You may have to do a little bit of an adjustment for yourself. Good. So it's all a matter of spacing for your spine. Oh, I know myself. Yeah, maybe just a little for the head. Good. So we have the bottom or the head block coming onto its side, going hamburger, or I should say hot dog style, alongside your head. The bottom block is flat, going across from your lower rib cage all the way up through your shoulders. Okay, and there's a few different ways. You can either keep your knees bent, you can straighten out through your legs if you wish. You can also come into butterfly pose. Either way, find the most comfortable position for yourself for the next few moments. And as you're lying here in your Shavasana, you're more than welcome to stay here. Or you can start finding micro movements from your toes, your ankles, your fingers, and your wrists. Allowing the energy of today's practice to give you a new sense of awakening and awareness. So we slowly start to bring our arms up, stretching it behind your spine. And then slowly release. Gently lift yourself off your props, coming into a comfortable seated position. Bring your palms into the heart center. As we thank you for taking the time to come to today's class, sharing this virtual space with their climbing neighbors, loved ones, and friends. And we wish you a peaceful day. And namaste. Well, thank y'all for coming on over to 6 a.m. or 6 a.m. 7 a.m. class. I had lots of fun with y'all today, and hopefully I'll be able to see you later on tonight. Yeah, have a good one. Bye.